So we're going to explore some ways that I've discovered that help us learn to love ourselves. Anybody who's studied the Course in Miracles knows that they say, forgive and love thyself. You know, it's love thy neighbor as thyself. And the thing most people seem to forget, it's as thyself. It isn't just love thy neighbor. And you can't really love your neighbor until you do learn to love yourself. So if you want to love yourself, then I suggest you start with these 10 steps that I've put together. Absolutely number one, first of all, most important, and if you really get this one, you don't have to practice any of the others because they'll come automatically. The number one thing is to stop all criticism. Stop criticizing yourself now and forevermore. Never again. Make a vow to yourself, I'm not going to do this anymore. You have been criticizing yourself for years and years, and you're still criticizing yourself for the same stuff you were criticizing yourself for before. So it seems that it doesn't work. So why don't we try another tactic? Let's come from a place of being okay as you are, and you can make changes. I remember what a revelation it was to me when I discovered that I could make changes in my life without being a bad person. I didn't have to be bad and then change. I could be okay and just change. Criticism never changes a thing. So refuse to criticize yourself and accept yourself exactly as you are. Remember, everybody changes. Everybody. But when you criticize yourself, your changes automatically become negative. You get into negative changes. And when you approve of yourself, it's amazing how your changes are positive. Our ability to change and adapt and flow with the process of life is our healing power. That's our healing power. We are powerful beings, and our power lies in the choice of thoughts that we think and the words that we use. Because our thoughts are creative. They create our experiences. They contribute to everything we do in life. So you do choose the thoughts you think. You really do. Sometimes we think, oh, they zip by so quickly. But you really do choose them. So choose thoughts that are nurturing to you. Choose thoughts that are uplifting, that are supporting of you. If you really want to love yourself, it's essential that you stop criticizing yourself now and forevermore. All right, number two, don't scare yourself. Please, if you love yourself, don't scare yourself. Stop terrorizing yourself with frightful thoughts, because all you do is make any situation worse. You don't make it better. And don't take a small situation and make it into a big monster. And don't take a scary situation and make it even worse. Be there for yourself, you know. It's a terrible way to live. And if you have a habit of doing this, I suggest you stop it. You just stop it. You know, how often do we lie in bed at night going over and over a problem, creating the worst possible scenario? We do this for relationships. Someone doesn't call, and we immediately decide that we're totally unlovable and we'll never have a relationship in our life. And we're abandoned. We do this for work. You know, you hear a small remark at work, and you think, oh my God, I'm going to be fired. You know, we build these things up. And remember, these frightening thoughts are affirmations. Only they're negative affirmations. Number three is be gentle and kind and patient with yourself. Just be gentle and kind and patient. You know, a good example of the power of patience is a garden. A garden is often to begin with just a patch of dirt, and then you add some seeds or some little plants, and you let the sun shine, and you water it, and you give it some loving attention. And to begin with, it seems like not much is happening. But if you continue doing that, if you're patient, things will change. The garden will grow and blossom. And if you think of your life as like a garden, or your mind like a garden, you know, what kind of garden would you like? What kind of events do you want to have happen in your life? And what kind of seeds do you need to plant in order for those to happen? So you select the seeds, you select the thoughts that will contribute to creating the garden of experiences that you want. You want to treat yourself as you would somebody that you really, really liked, or as you would treat a gentle little child. You know, for yourself, that's important. And you know, it's okay to make mistakes while you're learning. You don't have to immediately be perfect. So many of us are cursed with perfectionism. And we won't give ourselves a chance to really learn anything new, because if we don't do it perfectly in the first 3 minutes, we again assume we're not good enough. But anything you're going to learn is going to take time. Number 4, be kind to your mind. Be kind to your mind. You know, self-hatred is really only hating thoughts you have about yourself. That's all it is. And you don't want to hate yourself for having thoughts. You gently want to change those thoughts. Change your thinking. You know, you are worth loving. All of us are. We do not have to earn love. In spite of the way some of us were raised as children, really, you don't have to earn love. You see, you don't have to earn the right to breathe. You have the right to breathe freely and fully because you exist. And you have the right to be loved because you exist. That's all you have to do. We are lovable because we exist. And we have to know that and make it true for ourselves. Number 5, praise yourself. Please praise yourself. Criticism breaks down the inner spirit, and praise builds it up. So praise yourself as much as you can. Tell yourself how well you're doing with every little thing. Many of us refuse to put any effort into creating a good life for ourselves because we feel we don't deserve it. Our feeling of not being deserving could come from people telling us we didn't, but it could also come from something as simple as early toilet training or being refused an ice cream cone when we were young. Deserving has nothing to do with having good. It's our unwillingness to accept good in our lives. Allow yourself to accept good, whether you think you deserve it or not. And you know, when you think about deserving, there's a few questions I'd like to ask you about this to help you deserve the good that's in the universe. What is it you feel you deserve? What do you feel you deserve? Do you deserve love and joy and all good? Or do you feel deep down that you deserve nothing? Why? Where did that message come from? And are you willing to let it go? What are you willing to put in its place? What different message would you put there? Because remember, these negative messages, something that says you don't deserve or you're not worthy, that's only a thought, and a thought can be changed. What is it you want that you're not now having? Think about that and be clear and specific about what you want and what you deserve. What are you willing to do to experience the good you really deserve? Are you willing to do affirmations? Are you willing to do visualizations? Are you willing to do treatments? Are you willing to forgive people? Are you willing to do regular relaxation and meditation? How much mental effort are you willing to give in order to change your life? Number 6 on loving yourself is support yourself. Find ways to support yourself. Reach out to friends and allow them to help you. It really is being strong to ask for help when you need it, instead of trying to do it all yourself and then being angry at yourself because you can't make it. And there's so many ways. You know, friends can help you. There are support groups everywhere. In some areas you find healing circles, and lots of the churches have support groups. And if you can't find what you want, you could even start your own. Start your own support group. How do you start a support group? You know, some people think that's so scary. They'd like to have them, but they don't know what to do about it. Well, you know, you can just gather 2 or 3 friends that have the same issues that you have and follow a few guidelines. If you do it with love in your heart, your little group will grow. It's amazing. People will be attracted like a magnet. And don't worry, if you have a little group and it starts to grow, don't worry about where you're going to meet, because the universe will always find a space. Number 7 on loving yourself. Be loving to your negatives. Be loving to your negatives. You created every single negative pattern, every negative habit, everything you have in your life to fulfill a need. And they worked. See, everybody's made negative choices in the past. We all have. However, nobody is stuck with them. The good news is that you always have choice. You can choose again. And you can always choose to let go of the old pattern, and you can choose a different and more supportive and nourishing thought. Letting go of the old negative pattern with love allows you to move into the new positive patterns with ease. It makes it so much easier. But punishing yourself, with thoughts like, I hate my job, I hate this illness, or I hate this relationship, or whatever, keeps you tied to what you hate, and it doesn't allow anything new and different to come into your life. See, if you run around saying, I hate my job, then the universe gets this message, oh, hates job. So if you get a new job, I guarantee you'll hate your job very shortly, because that's the message that you've put out. You want to release with love. Release whatever's in your life that you're not happy with now with love, and allow then the new stuff to come in. It really does. When you love yourself and you find yourself in the midst of a negative situation, you can say something to yourself like, I'm willing to release the pattern in my consciousness that contributed to this condition. And then you can say a positive affirmation, like, I really deserve only good in my life. I allow the healing powers and the healing energies of the universe to flow through me, really changing my life for the better. Our thoughts and our words are very powerful. We have to understand that whatever we have in our life, we have contributed to it because it's our way of handling situations. And to be angry at ourselves because such and such is going on doesn't make any changes. It doesn't make positive changes. What we have to do is fulfill those needs in a much more positive way. Okay, number 8 on how to love yourself. Take care of your body. It's the house you live in. When you're born, you move into this house, and when you leave the planet, you move out of it. So love the house that you live in and take care of it. You can find exercise that you enjoy, something that's fun to do. And then watch what you put into your body. Drug abuse is so prevalent on the planet, and it's become one of the most popular methods of escape. And if you're into drugs, it doesn't mean that you're a bad person. It just means that you haven't found a more positive way of fulfilling your needs. Drugs beckon to us. They say, come and play with me and I will give you a good time. And it's true, for a little bit, they do. You feel wonderful. But what happens is that they alter our reality. And what isn't evident at first is the terrible price that we have to pay. I mean, after taking them for a while, the whole health deteriorates rapidly and you feel terrible all the time. And in addition, you have a negative addiction. And then, people do all sorts of things with that. Drugs lower our immune systems to very dangerous levels. And on one level, you think, well, why would we even consider taking them? Peer pressure may get us to try drugs once. But continued use is another story. I've yet to meet anyone who really loves themselves who's hooked on drugs. We take drugs to escape ourselves and our feelings. And it all begins, again, with not loving ourselves and not appreciating who we are. We take those childhood feelings of not being good enough, and then we try to wipe them out. And this method never works for the drugs or the alcohol or whatever we're using. That wears off, and then we feel worse than we ever did. And then we usually have a load of guilt, too. So we want to know that it's safe for us to feel our feelings. That's okay. Part of loving ourselves is feeling our feelings and acknowledging them. They pass through. They don't stay. And then there is mirror work. Mirror work. one that I love so much. I have seen so many people change their lives by merely looking in the mirror and saying, I love you. I really, really love you. You know, at first it may seem untrue or even weird, and it can bring up sadness or anger or fear. But if we continue to do this simple affirmation every time we're in front of a mirror, our inner energy begins to shift. Letting go of destructive thoughts and behaviors and accepting ourselves as naturally lovable becomes so much easier. Stop trying to change other people. Leave them alone. I mean, all that energy that we spend into trying to make other people different, if we used half of that energy, we could make ourselves different. And when we're different, our whole life will change. You can't learn things for another person. Everybody has to learn their own lessons, but you can learn for yourself. You can learn for yourself, and you want to love yourself enough so that you're not brought down by self-destructive people or people that are negative. You know, they have a right to what they think and what they want to do for themselves, but you don't want to put yourself in such a position. And if you're in a position where you're with a really negative person that doesn't want to change, then you need to love yourself enough to move out of that. You know, far too often we stay in a negative relationship for so long. You might even be taking an abuse in a relationship. We'll allow ourselves to be put down, and when we do that, we're always saying, really, well, I'm not worth loving, so I have to stay here and accept this behavior because I know nobody else would want me. You know, that's a very negative feeling to have about yourself.